points you made earlier about who are we listening to, because Los Angeles County very well back on our way to more indoor masking. That should come about in the next few days as the BA.5 Omicron subvariant reportedly pushing COVID cases higher.
You can go back 10 seconds and watch a never-ending loop of Joe Biden saying, if you get vaxxed, you cannot get this. You get vaxxed, you will not get COVID. Guess who currently has fucking COVID? So my feeling is I don't know if he knew. He probably didn't know. Someone was telling him to say that, whatever it is. But you don't have to go back, 35 years and figure out what's going on with eggs anymore. You can just go back 10 minutes. It's a never-ending loop of the same fucking geniuses telling you, do this. We can get back to that.
Well, I think someone who might agree with you, oddly, is Barbara Ferrer. Because I thought this was her mandate. Well, this clip has gone viral of her hooting and hollering and whooping it up at the MLB All-Stars game. We have that. And she doesn't seem to have a care in the world, certainly not a mask, and having a great time.
I don't want to defend her, but she does have the mask. It's just kind of around her right elbow.
Right. Her elbow will not get COVID.
She slung it up her arm like the way Nazis would wear their symbol back with the Gestapo days, which is the apt comparison. So she has it on her arm, and she's screaming.
Fine. Well, current guidelines in L.A. County mandate that teachers and other school staff in L.A. County will be required to wear N95 or other medical-grade masks amid a surge of COVID.
Everyone's getting it. That's it. Pure and simple. I don't know. Biden was just fist bumping his way through the Middle East. Is that? It's so crazy. Like, we're going to fist. Has anyone got it through a handshake? I thought it wasn't a contact thing. Why are we even fist bumping? But he got it. He does everything right. So he got it. So everyone gets it.
That's the thing that has stuck out the most to me when you said, people are like, I don't get it. I've done everything right. And you're like, that's my point.
Right.
That's really sort of stuck in my...
That doesn't happen with weight loss. It's not like you see someone and they go, I never eat carbs. I work out all the time. I don't drink. I do 5 miles every morning, and I'm still morbidly obese. Like, that doesn't exist.
That can be pituitary.
You do everything right, you usually see some results. This is random. There's people I know who did everything right, who got it. There's people I know who's got it multiple times. There's people I know who haven't got it.
You've never gotten it.
I don't think I've gotten it, but I don't know for sure. I'm like, I don't, it doesn't hit me like things hit Drew hard. They don't hit me that hard. Maybe I got it. Maybe I was unaware of it. Mike August did everything I did. I mean, Mike August got it in Alaska. We were in Alaska. We were at a club. We were upstairs, and he's like, that's when it started to hit. So we're in an airplane. We're in an Uber. I got Sonny with me. We're all traveling through Alaska, staying in the same lodge, going in the same, mini seaplanes and everything, backstage at the same clubs and the same venues. He gets it. I don't get it. Sonny doesn't get it. Chris doesn't get it. Then I come back and go to Garagos's wedding. I don't have it. Mike does, and we're sitting next to each other in this upstairs little dank room at the club. Like, it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
So my point is it's like saying, is there a God? Isn't there a God? Is there a devil? What about reincarnation? I don't know. How about you get the fuck on with your life, and then when you die, you'll find out. Or we can sit and try to figure it out.
That's a good point. Well, let's talk about another disease. We got our monkeypoxes, we've got our COVIDs, but there's a new case of polio in New York. This. Yeah, one reported case marks the first time in the U.S. in nearly a decade. Now, here's what we know about it, which is interesting. A report says that it was detected in someone who received an oral polio vaccine. The U.S. doesn't give out oral polio vaccines. That's been over 20 years. We don't do that. We give out an inactive polio vaccine, which cannot give you polio. This suggests that the virus may have originated outside of the United States. And while it's usually transmitted by hands contaminated with fecal matter, you can get it respiratorily, oral to oral, if you're making out with somebody with polio. And be careful, because didn't that make a lot of kids bedridden in the olden times.
We made them wheelchair bound.
In our parents.
It was freaked everyone out.
That's right.
Yeah, they would like close the windows in their
It
kids'
was like
bedroom and
polio
stuff.
season. Like the spring was polio season.
And early on, they thought it was pool related. They closed all the pools.
Boy.
Yeah, Barbara Ferrer closed.
That's right.
Her great grandmother closed all the pools so the kids could not frolic or have fun. Yeah, it's what happens with a lot of these diseases is we, as the United States, are done with this disease, but the world is not because they're lagging behind. And then somebody gets it from somewhere and then shows up here, and now we go, oh, it's the first case. Yeah, where'd the person come from, or what was the story?
But also, we're vaccinated. We get them at like 1 year old or whatever.
Sometimes they'll have like the Hasidim in New York or something who aren't down with the vax, and they'll resurrect something. But I don't know where this person's from. But in a world of, the news is an elderly woman was smashed in the head with a cinder block while walking. The polio feels quaint.
It does.
It's like
almost charming.
It's the pickpocket of things.
Speaking of quaint and charming, a marker of a world that is long gone. You guys know Jonas Salk. He did the polio vaccine, and he obviously stood to make untold millions of dollars for coming up with the polio vaccine. And he did, as I recall, he declined to patent it. His quote was, "How does one patent the sun?"
Hero.
Basically meaning like it existed, I just found it. That would never.
It's a good
Can
man.
you imagine that today?
The Sackler family saying, just give it away.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's why I guess we hold him in such high reverence, right?
Yeah, after you just learned about him.
So there was some, you might know this from TMZ, but there has been some like crazy Ricky Martin controversy.
Yes.
And now that it's come to sort of a close, I feel like we can talk about it because I didn't want to just shit on the guy. I didn't know what was going on.
Yes.
So let's talk about it. Ricky Martin's nephew has withdrawn his claim that Ricky Martin stalked him and lured him into an incestuous relationship. The 21-year-old went to authorities in Puerto Rico to claim that he and Martin had a sexual relationship for 7 months and that Martin continued to pursue him after he called it off. But just hours before Martin was to be deposed by prosecutors on Thursday, the accuser went to court and dropped all claims. Ricky's attorney is...
The problem with withdrawing claims is you can do it from a legal standpoint.
Legally,
clear. You asked me in 20 years, Ricky Martin... That guy was blowing his nephew.
Menudo and incest, right?
That guy. Yeah. What happened to him? Right. That's the problem.
That's true. His lawyer says this was never anything more than a troubled individual making false allegations with absolutely nothing to substantiate them. It's dropped, and we shall move on.
Well, I think the idea was that his nephew had emotional issues, and so. Maybe that's where this stemmed from.
But you know what causes emotional issues?
Yes,
incestuous
that's
relationships.
right.
It's going to be hard to explain to Tessa someday just what a phenomenon Ricky Martin was. Ushered in.
Is that something you're going to have to explain?
You know what I mean? Like, it's going to seem
about
absurd.
Jonas Salk, and then
the
two great Americans.
That's right.
Like the fact that he ushered in basically a wave of music. You wouldn't have Mark Anthony if it wasn't original.
Oh, God.
So
you're right.
Lock
him up.
Some good, some bad.
Lock him up. Oh, speaking of Mark Anthony, I didn't mention it, but we all know that J-Lo and Ben Affleck are married and vacationing in Paris with the kids.
I don't get, they did the Vegas thing. This is another thing that was covered on TMZ shortly after the Ricky Martin story. So I'm abreast. But they just went to Vegas and kind of slummed it. And then, that's the new thing. It's not the new thing. It's the old thing that we decided was beneath us, and now we're going to Vegas.
It's kitschy.
It was,
I was just there.
It was kitschy for a time, and then it went away for a long time. Maybe The Hangover helped. I don't know. Then it became cool. But it's like the Vegas wedding is like when you see the celebrities going down to the Okie Dog in Toluca Lake or going to some burger joint that's off the beaten path, and it's cheap, but it's funny, and they're keeping it real. Then they go back to the Learjets and the private islands and all that shit.
It's quirky and Instagrammable, and then they go back to Richie Rich life.
Right.
But they're in Paris right now with all the kids, and just making out in front of those kids.
Easy.
Oh boy, they are in love.
It's interesting. And you kind of wonder, like, if you are one of the multitude of exes they both had in between the Geely days and then the 19 years later when they reunited, like, were you guys always kind of thinking about each other while we were fucking or married or something?
Seems
or
like it.
did you
There's a
just
reason.
completely, is it completely gone and you just, here we go, we just saw each other? Like, were you both having those thoughts? Were there correspondence? Like, if you're both having these thoughts while you're both separately married or doing whatever it is you're doing, it also seems kind of unlikely that there wouldn't be a, he came out with the town and she wrote him a nice little email that
Right.
said,
Yes.
hey, really
Yes.
enjoyed it. Good luck, with the little wink and a
Happy
nod.
birthday text once in a while.
Yeah.
Kind of wonder, was there correspondence? Like if you talked to both of them 10 years ago and said, did you ever think, would one of them go, oh yeah, I knew in my heart at some point, or would they just go, I hadn't even thought about it?
Yeah, doubtful, because it was A-Rod and Jennifer Garner, Gar,
Right.
and those seem to, I don't know, the A-Rod thing kind of, from what I remember, just kind of went away, like kind of suddenly. So maybe A-Rod found some correspondence. Maybe I don't know. This is all very
He
speculative.
ended up with Ricky Martin,
That's right.
Yeah.
Martin's nephew.
Do you remember that Linda Evangelista cool sculpting lawsuit
yeah.
that made her like a hunchback?
Yes.
They've settled. So she's 57 and she sued Zeltig Aesthetics for $50 million last year, alleging she became a recluse after this treatment gone wrong. She said it left her brutally disfigured. She went on to claim that these rare side effects of fat freezing caused this fatty tissue to thicken and enlarge in treated areas. According to the 2018 editorial published in Science Daily, it has been estimated to occur in 1 out of 4,000 treatments. She didn't reveal the settlement, but also, if it can happen to 1 in 4,000 people, who are you suing? You know what I mean?
She must
you
have
just had a bad
signed
reaction
any
to
number.
it.
Whenever you go into any medical, your hand, you probably signed, had Matt Fondelier sign, 10,000 forms.
Well, yes. And then it always struck me, you can, as a supermodel, you can make your living just being 25 and hot for a while. And then you can either marry an older, fatter Russian guy and ride it out,
Oligarch.
or you can get a lot of procedures done and sue somebody at some point.
Yeah. And realize that was a career path.
Well, it is. It's viable now.
Get on it.
And there's it's always about damages. And when you're a troll and you're trying to get something fixed and it goes south, there's not as many damages because it's not like, oh, this was your career. But when you're Linda, who I think quietly could have been the hottest of all the supermodel groups.
I absolutely agree. Remember when all the supermodels would go on Oprah? Linda Evangelista was it.
Was it all in her eyes? Because it was her eyes
beautiful
were so
almond eyes.
amazing.
And she pulled off a short haircut like no other. When
She
that was not.
Yes, as featured in Freedom 90, the George Michael video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's shown above all the other stars.
Indeed.
Was
That's not fucking rules.
Yeah, it is. Great.
all right, let's see. You be the casting guy, the sleazy casting guy for the Freedom 90.
Okay. Who are you?
I'll be George Michael. What do you mean? Who am I? I'm your assistant.
Oh,
You
you're
want a
Linda
coffee?
Evangelista.
Fuck you. I'm George Michael. All right,
Hey.
but it's not out that I'm gay yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Now,
you're
George,
trying to pawn off some of the hot chicks.
We got quite the roster set up today. Keep your hands to yourself, kid. We got Linda Evangelista.
Which one is she?
The hottest of the hot. You'll know when you see her.
Yeah, I
know
saw
that
somebody walking in. Kind of like
short,
a bob haircut.
Short blonde hair. Just
yeah.
a smoke. Naomi Campbell.
Yeah, she's Linda's a little bosomy.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Up top, bro.
Yeah. Anyway, what? So why you tell me this?
Naomi Campbell's going to be there. Ebony
it's
Goddess.
I don't know that name. Is there? Are there any dudes like?
Actually, there are a couple dudes. Weird that you would ask about that, but yeah, there are a couple of fellas in the old video over there. Just give some for the ladies. We had the ladies. They buy CDs too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So who are the dudes?
I mean, Cindy Crawford's going to be there. Not a dude, obviously.
I don't know that name either.
Cindy Turlington. I mean, dude, we're talking the honest. I spared no expense with this. Went to a lead modeling agency.
I know you're talking about going out to dinner with the ladies after the shoot, but
fuck yeah.
What about the dudes? Are they going to be able to come too, or?
Yeah, I mean, they'll be invited as a courtesy, but I really hope they don't come. They're handsome, they're handsome fellas. They're supermodels, you know, not to the level of, you know, a Claudia Schiffer, for example.
I don't know who that is either.
Oh,
but
she's world famous.
Yeah.
She's very, very pretty.
Yeah.
Aren't you British?
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Sorry. All right, scene. I forgot I was British.
Jesus Christ.
Getting into character.
Yeah. Tell. Let's talk Top Gun because it keeps hitting these milestones, and we have the latest one. Top Gun Maverick has grossed $623.8 million. That was like a day or two ago, so it's really gone up. In North America, passing Avengers to become the 9th highest grossing movie in domestic box office history.
Well, I think this is good because all the crazed special effects that are all done on the computer now, it's just become overwhelming with a lot of these movies. And these guys getting in the, you know, oh God, what are they flying? 14s or 18s and putting a GoPro on their helmet, being F-14 being launched off carriers. And it's cool. The tactile, sort of old school, analog excitement.
Yeah,
good for them.
It's great.
I'm just glad people are going back to the theater. It's such a great rebound for the industry.
And isn't this kind of a middle finger to China?
Yeah, it's a win-win-win.
Yeah. And it's good. It's sort of patriotic.
Yeah,
it's good. It's a good sign.
And it's a quality movie. If people like it more than me, I can acknowledge it's a good movie. I'm glad that people are going to see, you know, not fucking watch me say this, Transformers 8.
Oh,
that's a good movie.
Yeah. And some of the movies that it needs to leapfrog over, I'm sure you'll know, Titanic, Jurassic World, Star Wars The Force Awakens, Avengers Endgame, Spider-Man No Way Home, Avatar, Black Panther, and Avengers Infinity War. I don't think I've seen any of these.
Those are some good movies.
Maybe it's not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Oh, so remember we were talking to Joe DeRosa about how, you know, a year or two ago, they literally were giving penthouses away in New York. I mean, that when he said, you know, we got to strike while the iron's hot, that shit is over. The average monthly rent now for Manhattan is over $5,000 a month. For the first time, brokers say demand and prices are headed to go even higher in the fall. And if you're wondering how we compare, and, you know, we're all going broke out here from rent and mortgage. We're only $3,000 a month compared to New York's $5,000. Any guess where the cheapest rent is? What the state with the cheapest rent is in the country?
Arkansas.
That's what I thought too, but no.
Louisiana.
No. Something with a lot of space. So I'm saying like Wyoming.
West Virginia. $800 a month.
But I don't know. Is New York, but anywhere on Manhattan, it's like such density and populace and stuff. And then Los Angeles, like
spread out.
We're getting into like Sunland and stuff, and we get into some weird dicey kind of. But if it was sort of downtown versus downtown, so to speak, or the stretch of whatever the most populated,
10%,
right?
Top 10%.
Like just West Hollywood and
All right, let's bring it home because Ed Calderon is waiting out there.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina Grad.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
Well, good news. Concrete. I just finished my glass of concrete. It is.
Oh, that was in your glass? Adam's not BSing because your glass is all cloudy. I'm like, what is he drinking?
Concrete. Creatine. Your body needs it. You can only make about half of what your body needs, and then the rest comes from your diet. And, of course, the American diet, not so much. Concrete, patented creatine, HCl is the favorite creatine of elite, well-informed athletes. The number one bioavailable creatine and the only microdosing creatine. Just a small scoop per 100 pounds of body weight, and it's good for what ails you. Creatine is required for functional energy for every cell, and your brain uses about 20% of the creatine in your body. So let's feed that beast. It's concrete, right, Dawson?
Take control of your health, both body and mind, to build a better you with Concrete. Register now at con-crete.com/podcast. That's con-cret.com/podcast for a chance to win a $500 Walmart Visa gift card. Available now online and in-store at Walmart. Concrete is truly life-changing and performance-enhancing.
If you would have tapped me on the shoulder and went, "Who's at the Varsity Theater?" I'd be like, the head of the Klan? I don't know who's speaking. Some very controversial speaker. He's a Holocaust denier or something like that. No, he's a black comedian who you loved 10 minutes ago and was on the intersectional side of guys you cheered for.
Right.